Hi, my name's Clarke. I'm from Belfast. I'm 28 years old. I grew up in a Christian family in East Belfast. I had quite a good life when I was younger. My parents were really good to me, but I always sort of felt like the black sheep of my family. I always felt like I didn't fit in. But as I grew older, like the pulls of the world, they just really influenced my life. And at a young age, I started smoking cigarettes and hanging about with the wrong crowd and stuff. And I got introduced to drugs at a very young age. I started smoking cannabis when I was 11. And in the beginning, it was all just really good fun. We would just get high and think it was brilliant. And at the same time, I was still going to church and still going to my Christian youth group. But as time went on, as I got a bit older, I got introduced to harder drugs. When I was about 14, I started taking speed, and when I got a bit older, it's like 15 or 16, I started taking ecstasy and cocaine, and my life really started spiraling out of control. When I was 16, I actually brought drugs along to a Christian event called Summer Madness, and I got quite a few people high there, and it ended up with me getting kicked out of my Christian youth group. And after that, I just decided to leave church behind and just walk away from the Christian faith. That was just my last contact with Christianity, really. And I just went deeper into the world of drugs and drinking. And my life was it was an absolute mess. All through school, I was just getting high every day. Getting into fights with people, getting into trouble with the police. So after I got kicked out of my youth group, I didn't really have any contact with any Christians apart from my family. And I was just going deeper into the world of taking drugs and getting high with my friends every day. I can actually remember one day getting high with one of my friends and saying, like, I still believed in God at this point, but I remember saying to my friend, like, I believe in God and all, but I don't need him in my life at the moment. I want to just party and have fun and just forget about him, and maybe I'll, like, if he's real, I'll come back to him when I'm older. My drug of choice was marijuana. I would have smoked weed every day, and every weekend I would have been on the drink and taking pills and just doing whatever I could to get high. And then whenever I left school, I got quite a decent job as a sound engineer. But every month, all my wages was just getting spent on cocaine, ease, speed, meth, weed, whatever I could get to get high, I was just taking it. And my drug use started to really affect my job, and I started to get really depressed because I was taking Class A drugs nearly every day of the week. And my life just started spiraling out of control, and I ended up losing my job because of it, and was having like really suicidal thoughts. And there was a few times when I tried to overdose myself and stuff. And there was one time I tried to hang myself, and my mum walked into the garage and found me hanging on a rope, and she came in, cut the rope down, and I'd stopped breathing. And luckily one of my neighbours was a doctor. He was walking down the street, and he came up and revived me until the ambulance came, and I ended up in hospital and all because of that. And after that happened, I was thinking, I need to do something to change my life. I need to get out of this cycle of taking drugs. But by this point, I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I'd just given up on God completely. I just thought it was all a lie because of what I could see in the world. There was so much bad stuff going on in the world, and I just thought if there was a God, none of this would be happening. I thought I was going to turn my life around, but I just got pulled back into drugs. I was taking prescription drugs every day. I was taking a lot of Valium, and I was mixing uppers and downers, but my head was absolutely wrecked. And I was, at the same time as this, I was going out and getting into fights and getting into a lot of trouble with the police, and had a really bad criminal record. And I just got to the point where I still wasn't happy living. I absolutely hated myself. I felt like an absolute scumbag. But I knew I couldn't try and kill myself again because I saw what it did to my mum and I saw what it did to my family, and it had really upset them. So I knew that I couldn't try hang myself again. So anytime I went out on the partying, I was just taking as much drugs as I could just to see. I was almost like testing my body to see how far I could push it. Like if we were out and someone was taking like 1E, I would bang 5 just to see if like I could do it and stay alive. So like all the joy had really gone out of partying for me. I was just doing it for the sake of getting wrecked, but I was putting on a happy face for everybody around me, but inside I was just dying. Inside whenever I came home and I was on my own, I was just disappointed in myself, disgusted at myself. After that, I got involved with a girl, and I thought that would help me like get my life back on track, but we ended up just getting wrecked together all the time, and it just really wasn't good for me. But in a way, I thought I'd like got myself a bit more together because I wasn't getting wiped out every day. I was just maybe smoking weed every day and then getting wiped out at the weekends, and I thought I've sorted myself out a wee bit. And then when that relationship ended, I just went completely off the rails again. Ended up losing another job I had through drug use, and I just went really downhill from there. I was just taking Class A drugs every day, a mixture of like ketamine and just all these crazy drugs that just mess your brain up. Through all this, I didn't realise, but I'd been like opening doors in my life to darkness, and like I didn't know why I was so depressed all the time, but now I do know that like through all the drug use, I was just giving the enemy a foothold in my life. I was giving them a door to torment me, really. My life was a living hell. Like every day was just hell. Like I put my mum and dad through so much shit, and but whenever I was out with my mates, I had the happy face on. I was just getting on. But whenever I was home, it was just a different story on my own. So then I started experimenting with psychedelic drugs like LSD and DMT and stuff to try and, I don't know, just get even more spaced. But maybe in me, like my friends would be like taking 1 tablet of acid, but I would be going out and banging like 10 at once. And like, I don't know, it just wrecked my head completely. But through all the psychedelic drugs and stuff, I just opened the door even wider. And every night I would come home, and at 3 o'clock in the morning every night, this black cloud would come into my room and wake me up and start telling me that I was worthless, and start telling me that he wanted me to die and stuff like this. And this kept happening, and a lot of times when it happened, I would go to my dad and say, "Dad, will you come and pray in my room?" But I didn't believe it. At the time, I didn't believe in God, but I knew there was some power behind what they believed in. So anytime my dad prayed, all the bad stuff went away, and I was able to get a good sleep. But I would go out and do the same things every day and get wrecked and just bring all this badness back with me, and it would torment me through the night. And it got so bad, like the suicidal thoughts were just getting really way too much to handle. And I reached the end of my rope really, and I reached out and I went in to see a psychiatrist in the hospital, and they pretty much told me I was fine. It was just all the drugs I was doing, but really I wasn't fine. I was so close just to doing myself in. Like I was out partying one weekend and I just went on an absolute rampage. I was drinking, partying for maybe 6 days straight, and I don't know what happened, but I picked up some bacteria or something. But my temperature was through the roof, and I'd lost all control of my bowels, and like I seriously, my body felt like it was shutting down. So I got admitted into the hospital and they started detoxing me off all the drugs and alcohol. Just during my time in hospital, I just felt so desperate. I was like at the bottom of where I could go. I was in the pit. And I just remember it was like the third day in hospital or something. I just felt like God started speaking to me saying, Chris, if you don't change your life now, you're just gonna die. So I just, in that hospital room, I just started crying out, Yahweh, if you're real, I need you to come and help me. I need you to change my life. And whenever I prayed that, I just felt this immense peace come over me. And I just felt like I don't want to take drugs anymore. For the first time in my adult life, I felt like I didn't want to get high. I didn't want to get wrecked. I didn't want to escape anymore. I just felt this peace. And then a couple of days after I got out of hospital, I got invited along to Summer Madness with a few guys that I used to go to the youth group that I got kicked out of. And at Summer Madness, I went up for prayer, and the guys were praying for me to receive the Holy Spirit. And I just remember they were praying for me, and I just broke down into tears and just realised that God's grace was enough to forgive like all the bad things I'd done in my life, and it was enough to like wash away all those years of me messing about and being an idiot. And I just felt forgiven, and I felt loved. And I can just remember blubbering like a wee baby for about an hour, crying my eyes out. But at the same time, it was like tears of joy. I was so joyful. And I just knew from that day that I had to like go and share the love of Jesus with everybody that I met. And I can remember actually going in the prayer room at Summer Madness after that. And I was just lying on the floor of the prayer room praying. And I'm like, I must have been there for ages. I was just lying there, but I felt like God's presence was like resting on me, and I'd never felt anything like it. It was amazing. Then I met a guy called Mike Oman from YWAM, and he told me about a YWAM DTS and about how you can go to a different country and learn about Jesus, and then go and share the love of God in different nations around the world. And originally I thought, Mike, you're mad. There's no way I'm going to Germany to preach the gospel, and I'm gonna go to tech and get a job. But like I went home and I was praying about it, and I just got severely convicted that it was something that I had to do. It was like I had to get away from Northern Ireland. I had to like break the cycle so that I didn't get pulled back down. So I decided to go away to a place called Herrnhut in Germany, and I did a DTS there, and that was a completely life-changing experience, like, because even though I've been saved at Summer Madness and I thought, oh, this is brilliant, everything's worked out, throughout that 6 months I just learned like so much more about myself, and like that there was actually still quite a lot of stuff in my life that I need to change. And even now it's a continuing journey. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect now, like it's going from strength to strength, glory to glory. We're continually growing every day. But yeah, going away and doing missions completely changed my life. Just seeing like God work miracles in front of my eyes, like stuff that I just read about in the Bible. And to be honest, like I didn't think that sort of thing still happened today. But whenever I went away to India, I saw people getting freed from demons and the sick being healed and stuff, and I saw it like right in front of my eyes, and it just proved to me that everything that says in the Bible about Jesus is 100% truth, and it's got the power to change lives. Also, I met a girl, and we're now happily married, and our hearts are set on missions, and we just want to pursue God together and see Him transform lives around the world. And it's just another blessing from God to see that He helped me turn my life around. He's blessed me with a wife, He's blessed me with peace, He's blessed me with happiness. His Spirit fills me with joy, and it's just amazing. And at the minute I'm back home working as a landscape gardener, But I feel like God's leading me to quit my job here and go back to YWAM and actually be a staff in one of these discipleship schools with YWAM and help lead other young people and help to disciple them in missions and lead them to other countries so that they can see God working in the nations. So God is good. He has the power to transform lives. He definitely transformed mine. And there's no love like God's love. It can turn a heart of stone into a heart of flesh. He can soften the hardest hearts, and His love has the power to change nations. So God bless you, and I hope God's love can touch you today.